join us in the pledge of allegiance, please? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Before we even start off with the approval of the agenda, there's been some rumors about our last month's meeting. And I did a little research, contacted Mr. McKinney. Mr. McKinney kind of reinforced what I kind of came up with too. And that we followed the charter, and that he can't find anything as far as state-wise that we violated. I could go through and I could read all of this, but for those that would question it, please call the office and you can get a copy. But it looks like everything was done just fine. So we're going to move forward. With that, I'd like to move on to the approval of tonight's agenda. We have 2 items to add.
One under unfinished business, the adoption of the Consumers Energy Ordinance number 146. And under new business, the land that Tennessee County sent us information on, we would make a decision on that. That's it.
It's hard to hear Jackie back here with her son.
Both of those are item 10 and
Item 10.
Unfinished business and new business. The adoption of 146 with consumers. The new business, the mediation of the land. And that goes back to Genesee County info, which we'll get into in just a second. Gentlemen, I'm looking for someone to make a motion to approve the next agenda.
Make a motion to accept the agenda for September 8th, 2014. Support.
Roll call.
Brennan,
Yes.
Horton, Lori,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes. I might add Mr. Horton will not be here this evening. My bad, I'm sorry. Okay, the treasurer's report, the purple sheet, gentlemen. Yes, we should do that too. I crossed off the wrong one. Approval of our minutes from our regular council meeting, November 10th. Question. And I'll make the motion. Gentlemen, you have any discussion on it?
Support.
Mr. President, due to the concerns of some residents, would it be possible to make a motion to the motions we had made during that meeting, seeing that, like I said, with the question of the oath of office?
Once again, I'm not going to dwell on this too much because our attorney said that everything was done fine. Everything that we did during that meeting carried a unanimous vote.
Yes, sir.
And we also had a legal quorum, if you want to look at it that way, between Mr. Maury, Mr. Horton, and myself.
Very good.
If you guys don't have any question with it, I don't see why we would do anything. Let's go forward.
Okay.
All right,
Problem.
we're moving the minutes you're reading, where's it? All those motions.
All motions.
Well, it's just the issues with people who said that we weren't certified, but with this letter from Tom McKinney, I guess we are indeed covered. So.
And I tried to research it too, and I couldn't find anything.
Okay. Very good. Make a motion to accept.
We're going to vote no if you're all set.
Okay.
Brennan,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Nick, Baldwin.
Yes. Now we can move on to the treasurer's report. Purple sheet, please.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
Dick.
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes. And the bills and transfers. Any questions?
Snake. We have a snake.
We had a snake upstairs in the bills and equipment and a snake down here in the kitchen. Very small.
Rubbish. And actually, if you want to look at it another way, it's good. Keeps cold air out. And even though I assured them that there probably would be snakes. Any other questions? I have
Turn the
enough.
furnace off. Probably won't help them right here.
So back to this. Bills and transfers, I made a motion, and support. Roll call.
Brandon.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
Dick.
Yes.
Baldwin.
Now our public comment. Please address the chair, no open dialogue. And I think I made the comment last month, and I'll repeat that before you started, Diane, is that if I can tonight, I will respond to all of your requests at the end. You're agreeable. And if I can't, it's only because I'm not sure, I will respond next month. Anything on the public comment.
Diane Fredericks, 476 Terrace Court. With regard to Carjana, the gentleman and the company has been in here several times to talk about everything that they can do comparing us to all the success they had on Belle Isle. And the cost for Belle Isle was $200,000, and we're supposed to be 5 times as big, so this is $2 million. When I do the math, that would come to $14,000 a household to do something that we can't afford. And maybe we should try to find some other solutions other than trying to use that. I'm begging you guys to please, before you agree to do any of that, I don't know how far along the path you are to agree to do it, that you really think about how much, none of us has $14,000 that we want to put towards that. And then you add in the losses on top of it, we can't afford it. We have to find another solution. Thank you very much.
Cindy, okay, I've got 2 questions. One is, I am concerned about what we did last month, because we did that, I think, 4 years ago. I don't think that should ever happen again. We shouldn't walk into a council meeting, have administration allowing the vote that was done, and it not be done correctly. I've talked to over 6 municipalities, and every one of them couldn't believe it was done. They said they would never, ever allow it if the votes were completed throughout the whole entire community. So charter or not charter, I think that we do need to reevaluate that. And last time that happened, if I remember right, I think it was with Doug McAdee, maybe possibly, and they did repeat everything that was on motion for that previous meeting, and they also had the new council repeat the oath. And I do think that should be done. One more thing. I don't know what month it was. I know it was in the summer, I believe. The council did pass a motion for administration to contact Jeff Wright, the DEQ, and the DNR. We need that. We need that just as much as we need anything else that's green or anything else that's going on. That motion needs to be fulfilled. That will be what's transparent for us and open up questions for the public. We have a lot to cover. It's big and it's deep and it's huge with everything that's going on. And I think that it's time for that motion to be fulfilled and it should be done soon. Thank you.
Just referring to the oath of office, everything else that was done. In November of 2010. November 8th, they had the meeting. The manager never said anything about it not being certified yet. Then she said that the meeting was null and void. It wasn't legal. So they had a special meeting on November 30th of 2010, and they redid everything. And at that time too, it says here in the minutes that Mr. McKinney is no longer employed, he was fired. That's what it states here. And I don't believe he was ever brought back legally. There was never any vote to bring that man back. Can you check into that, please? I don't believe you'll find it in any of the minutes.
Anybody else? Let's move forward. Unfinished business. The Genesee County Sheriff Department report. A few more things on it this evening. You can tell they were a little busier this month.
Oh, I guess.
Any comments? Let's move on to number 2, reports, street administrator, 911 water and waste, parks and rec.
I have nothing. We just been working in the garage to get things ready to go and keeping things going.
Jackie?
I don't have anything, Michelle mentioned that meeting. I put it down on my constraint. Couldn't mention the meeting at the drain office on the 17th.
I'm not positive right now whose mic that is. The man from Prajana I was supposed to talk to Friday, and we kept missing each other. But he was trying to work out the details with the drain commissioner. It's either going to be 1 or 1:30 on the 17th. And that's with Prajana.
Now that, Mr. President, that's in Flint, correct?
Correct.
I don't have anything on 911, but I believe Angie Adamek is going to give a report for Parks and Recs through their volunteer group.
Angie Adamek, Dutch Road. I'm here representing the Goodrich Village Volunteers. I'm hoarse, can you hear me okay? Can you hear me? Okay. And I wanted to, there's a couple new guys on the council, so I wanted to update them on who we were and the project that's ongoing, make sure they understand and know about it. We're an independent group of volunteers in the village that do positive projects for the community. And we've done a handful of them. But right now, we have a park sign, a monument park sign, in the planning that has been presented to council already, before you guys came on. All the plans for it are in the village office, if you want to go look at them. The sign is going to go up on Heagle Road, where the park comes up, on Heagle Road there by the Century Telephone building there, there's a little turnaround there. The plan for the sign is to go up there. It's going to be a large monument sign. The funds donated by an ex-resident who now lives in California. He's doing the sign through the Goodrich Village Volunteer Group because he's so far away. But if you have any questions about the sign or want to know more about it, the plans are in the village office. The installation date is planned for the spring. We've been doing a lot of planning, so if anybody needs to say anything, about the project, we appreciate hearing about it, during the winter here sometime before we really get into it in the spring. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Angie. Number 3, code enforcement. I see David's here, so. Number 4, administrative.
I just wanted to report to you that the judge has ordered, as far as the lawsuit is concerned, for us to go to mediation. It has to be completed by June the 9th. And with the death of Mr. Welch, and another couple, we're down to plaintiffs, that's what I said. A couple pulled out of the lawsuit. Everyone that has to be will be contacted by mediation.
And with that said, January's meeting, Mr. McKinney is going to be here and bring us up to speed on what's happening. Number 5 is the dam.
They've lowered the water about 6 inches going into winter, like they do every year.
Mr. Chairman, can I receive some information on the dam? I know you said that you get some of the office, had any proposals and stuff in the past that have taken place? Kind of give me a 10 call.
I'll tell you what, I'll go through and I'll dig out a bunch, I'll give you another folder of that. And then we can look at that and come up to the office, and I'm sure Jackie can help you. I'm sure you can find more. And with that said, that other packet, I'm gonna make sure that you can hand that off to Tim and let him look at that.
Due to circumstances, I didn't get a chance to get it from.
I don't, but when you get on, see to it that he gets it. If you want more, you can have it.
I didn't hear what he asked for.
Information pertaining to the dam, and I'll give him a packet. What I did is I gave Mr. Vick a packet of information that dealt with the Wheelock Watkins drain. Number 1, because of the fact it's we have time restraints involved here. He's looked at it, he'll give that to Mr. Brennan, and I will furnish Mr. Vick the same kind of a thing, a folder with information on the dam. And then from there, you can come up and ask for more if you so desire.
Thank you.
Sidewalks?
Unless anybody's got some damage to one.
Number 7. It's return to shine. Finally something good. Congratulations.
It only took from 2011.
It looks very good.
They did a fine job. I know Mr. Murray was up there watching them, and I know our building inspector was up there, I too was there. I think the guys did a real good job.
Will not be on the agenda again.
Thank God.
Mr. President, is there any idea on what he plans on doing with the property?
I have no idea.
We don't have any site plans or anything in the office.
He does own the property immediately to the south.
Correct. Okay. Well, I guess what's been done is better than nothing.
It's an improvement.
Yes.
Definitely improvement. Number 8 is the Wheelock Watkins drain, which we kind of just talked about, a meeting in the Drain Commissioner's office on the 17th. Other than that, there's not an awful lot to report on. And number 9 is the lender agreement with Argentine Township.
We'll talk about that.
Please.
Previous council motion to give our last allocation of community development, not give, loan, community development black grant money to Argentine Township so that they could complete a project. And this is just the paperwork to go with it. I'm asking for direction to sign this. It's for 19.5. When they get their next round of money, then it comes back to the village of Goodrich.
Questions?
Yes, sir. I'm assuming this is some of those ideas that we were coming up with of what we could do with the money.
This is our last round of money, not this round. This has already been allocated to them, it's just paperwork catching up. Once we finish this, I'll look our own.
So we need to go ahead and have a motion,
A motion directing me to sign the contract, or you.
and I will make that motion that you should go right ahead and sign that contract.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Brennan,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, can I answer his question now?
Yes.
The list of projects that we had, cleaning the creek and, I don't remember what the other ones were, none of those, were in agreement with what the county will allow us to do. So at this point, one of the other options we had was to loan the money again to somebody else, so that's what I filled the paper out for. If, we find that we really need to tear a building down, there's steps that we can take to change that over, like in May, but at this point, the paperwork's in. But I have found other avenues that we might be able to use to, clean the creek out from the part going through the other way, so. When I get more information, I can let you know on that.
I think this brings
So we
us
got-
up to the last one, number 10, if you're through, Jackie. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I'm just gonna.
Number 10, the adoption of 146 with consumers.
This again was a ordinance that was started with previous council. We published it in the paper on October 25th. We had to lay it on the table for anybody to come and take a look at for 30 days. I'm asking for a motion to adopt. Mr. Keen is also. The consumer solar energy ordinance that would go into effect 10 days from today.
Would you have any input?
Your village administrator had brought it before the previous council. I'm happy to give you a very condensed version. This is a franchise to operate in the village of Goodrich. Excuse me for not standing. It is required by the state constitution. It is not an exclusive franchise, meaning you could grant a franchise to any other utility company that would present themselves to you. This does not create a monopoly for the utility in the village. And the length of the franchise and the verbiage of the franchise are standardized pretty much across the state. So it's been legally published for 30 days prior to tonight's meeting. And as Ms. Sitch stated, she's seeking a motion from council to approve the franchise.
And direct Mr. Baldwin and myself to sign it.
Thank you.
Discussion, gentlemen?
I have not seen this, ordinance 146 is, where can I get it?
It was published in the paper on October 25th. And again, it was with previous council. I can give you a copy of it.
And if you have any questions, I'll give you the freedom to go right ahead and ask, fire away.
Okay. Well, it was quite condensed, as you said. I guess it's my fault I missed it in the paper. I look every week for notices. My question is, how does this allow you to be a franchise utility for Goodrich? How does that benefit us? How does it benefit our residents?
That's a very good question. So as I said, this is a requirement for utilities that's in the state constitution. Utilities to do business in municipalities must be franchised to do business. It's a technicality. The franchise verbiage itself, the wording of the franchise, grants Consumers Energy the authority to run wires, pipes, maintain them, and provide for the public safety, the delivery of energy and the public safety surrounding the energy that it delivers. It also indemnifies the village from any legal action that might occur as a result of an interaction with those utility systems. A car runs off the road, hits a pole, wire comes down, a fire starts, there's a fatality involved in that accident. No parties to that accident, that incident, can sue the village for any reason. You are indemnified from legal action as a result of any of the utilities equipment. It is a simple franchise, non-exclusive franchise that allows consumers to do business, continue to do business in the village of Goodrich.
Okay, well, I would hope consumers would continue to service this community. I can't see.
If we get a franchise, we will.
I can't see Detroit Edison coming up here, but that's neither here nor there. I personally feel that, consumers would hold responsibility of the utilities and the village would be exempt. I guess I'm good with it. I just don't understand why having the legalities of franchising is necessary, but I'm good with the answer. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I understand.
All right. Ready for a motion?
Again, it needs to include the village president, Mark Baldwin, and myself to sign.
Make a motion on debt consumers 146 for Baldwin and Jackie Sidge to sign.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Brannon,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Vic,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes. New business, appointment to the Metro Alliance. Jackie, if you would, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir.
I think Mr. Vic asked last time about appointments to different things that the village involved in and placing it. Metro Alliance is the final say on a chain of events that takes place when we or any other municipality seeks funding from the state or federal government through our MPO, which is the Metropolitan Alliance. Mr. McAbee was a representative when he was on council. I need an elected representative. We've never really had a citizen representative and or an alternate. If you want to vote in a citizen representative, you can. I have to send this with $115, I think it is, to the county. $150.
150.
You're 35 short.
Yes, I was.
Excuse me again. Mr. President, this says our dues were $4,800 for last year?
That's for the whole county.
That's for all the municipalities that participate.
Okay.
Ours is 100, everybody pays 150. That's for your coffee and donuts.
So did you volunteer for that because of your coffee and donuts?
Uh,
Yeah, Dark Rose.
I'm diabetic, sir.
The meeting is the third Wednesday down at the city county building on the third floor at 7 o'clock. For more information, the money that we received for Erie Street, for the Dutch Road Bridge, for the Hego Road Bridge, and both ends of Hego Road, and other money that we spent on Hego Road, all came through this process. So we have benefited from it completely.
Mark, if I may.
Sure.
It's a very short meeting, very informative meeting, very friendly people, very well run. A lot of the business, 90% of the business is done beforehand, and this is the public reading, making the public aware of what's going on, and making it legal. There's a lot of committee work behind the scenes, and Jack will testify to that. It's almost all done by committee. But, and you don't really see that part of it, but it's nothing for a long agenda to be out of there in 35 minutes. It's bang, 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 and you're gone. It's the public presentation and reading of legal matters.
President. That's what
Thank you. Mr. McAbey, I'm looking at you.
What? Well, I thought somebody else was gonna volunteer.
He's on council.
It was-
I'd like to see you step up too.
I thought it said must be on council.
No, there's a citizen representative and an elected.
You'd be a good one.
Yeah, I'll continue to go, if you'd like.
I'll drive.
All right.
What kind of statement was that? He's seen you around town, dog.
Let me put it this way, I work for General Motors. There's Volkswagen. Just kidding.
Yeah.
So we need two motions, or can we make a
No, one motion
motion
is fine.
to, okay.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
And it's appointing, Mr. Brennan as the council and Mr. Menke as the citizen. Okay.
Yes.
All right, who made the motion?
Mark did.
All right. Did we have support?
I did.
Okay.
Roll call.
Brennan? It's too late to back out. Maury?
Yes?
Vic?
Yeah.
Baldwin?
Yes. This is resolution 2014-20, reappointment to the zoning board of appeals. And I believe that's my name thrown in on this one, right?
Make a
I
motion.
heard you volunteer.
I did volunteer.
Mark Baldwin.
That's all, huh? Motion, there's support.
Roll call.
Brennan?
Yes.
Maureen?
Yes.
Vic?
Yes.
Baldwin?
Yes. Yellow Dog Marketplace. Jackie, please.
I just wanted to bring this to you for consensus. Everyone knows where Yellow Dog Marketplace is, I hope it's across the street with the big yellow dog up above it. Part of their agreement when they purchased the property, we have been working on getting that hooked to the sewer for a while. Talked to the bank, part of their agreement with us is that they will hook to the sanitary sewer, that when we moved in here, we took it across the street. I've had 2 or 3 discussions with them, and as you can see from the letter, he's trying to get, he's got to show them positive cash flow and trying to get a letter of credit, and he's given us a timeline, and I don't, village doesn't have a problem with it, I don't have a problem with it, I just want the village council to be in agreement that we like to try to work with the businesses that come into town. They are very busy over there. She's very involved in the Heritage Road Committee as well as the downtown.
Chambers.
Yeah, the chamber. So they've moved in to the village, opened up a business and support the village. So I'm just looking for a motion that everyone is in agreement with the presentation.
This is just for a presentation that we're looking at, that's all we're doing.
Just allowing them to follow this.
I welcome all businesses and I encourage them. I'll make that motion
I'll
as
support it.
presented.
If they can get it in faster, they will.
Roll call.
Brandon?
Yes.
Maureen?
Yes.
Vic?
Yes.
Baldwin?
Yes. And now we have resolution 2014-21. That is the appointment to the Planning Commission.
As you can see, See, that one is blank.
We need somebody involved that,
We have to have an ex officio member from the council and the planning commission and the zoning board of appeals.
it's only a few times a year.
How many times a year? You keep looking at me.
Planning commission, what do you guess, maybe 4 or 5?
3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, on the high side, 4.
If the business picks up and there's places that need to have site plan, then we'll have more. Right now, we're pretty well.
I'd like to see you take that position.
It's a very nice learning experience.
Uh-oh.
I saw that.
You're gonna give me some more
Go,
information?
Jake, go.
We're not gonna tell you
You'll learn as
who's
you
on
go
it.
along.
No, I'll learn as I go along, yeah, I've heard that.
We will be scheduling because we have new people on both boards, as well as council people, have our planner come up sometime the first of the year and do a training session for planning commission and zoning board of appeals.
I will do my best.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Give you a second.
Either that was a thank you or a.
And a second.
And a second.
Roll call, please.
Brennan,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Vic,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes.
That was a slow one.
That was a slow one.
Yes.
All right, what are we into now? The number 5, the appointment to the Good Times in Goodrich.
It's my understanding that, I believe you and Mr. Vic went to the last meeting for Good Times in Goodrich.
That was by request.
That was my request.
Well,
It's not something that, we've had a definite person appointed to do that in the past. I know Pete's gone, Mr. York used to go, I've gone to meetings, but if we can appoint somebody to attend their meetings, I think they meet every month on Tuesday evening.
Jenny is talking about every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Yes.
They've asked to be on the next agenda. But again, if you could make it, you can make it. If you make one a month, I would think that that would be good to give a council report.
Yes.
why don't we set it up, Mr. Vic? Between the 3 of us, you guys went last time, if you guys can't make it, I will go. I'll be here probably until somewhere around depending on treatments. I'll be out here by the 1st of March for a while, but, everything goes well.
I would help fill in too.
I mean, if one guy volunteers and can't go, it doesn't mean one of us should be there. They need help to get this over the hump.
I know they are requesting some things, but I asked them to present it to the council before.
Yeah.
They asked to be on the
Yeah.
agenda in January.
And some of the requests, I don't think are bad, so.
I wanna know how Rick's getting out of all these appointments all the time.
Rick,
He knows when not to show
Yeah,
up.
he does know when not to show up.
he's got a gig tonight.
Rick was
I volunteer, Rick.
reluctant to give up the planning commission after serving on the planning commission from the early 1980s. So he thought that it might be fun for somebody else to have a try. So, did I hear you volunteer?
I heard all 4 volunteered.
Okay, well, that, I mean, that could be.
If we know when there's a
Can't
meeting,
council monthly, decide who'd be
Yeah.
available?
1 or 2 of us will go,
Just
3 of
wait.
us are gonna
A
go,
council
that's gonna
member
cause
will
a
be
problem.
available.
Yeah, 3 of you can't go.
But the reason I asked you guys to go is to learn about, like I said, don't give them any answers if you don't have it. If you got the answer, fine. If you don't, bring it back here, we'll get it.
Well, we did that very well.
Don't volunteer any money.
Yeah, really.
Unless you wanna pay.
So we'll just put council in general. That's what we like to see. Assistance. Okay.
Go ahead.
Let me talk about-
They just hit my head, I'm sorry, I didn't want you to get too far in.
Why don't we wait till the end, you can bring that up.
Okay.
Let's move right along to the Genesee County Sewer Maintenance Agreement.
And we got our renewal that starts January 1st. We have a contract with them at this point. The last contract was for 7 years, this one is for 10 years. They maintain all of our sewer system for us. We had the problem between Dutch Road and the back of our building. They came in and they fixed everything. Every year, they designate certain areas in the village that they televise on a once-a-year rotation, plus we call them, a manhole is loose or there's backup, not backup, but there's an issue somewhere, they come over and fix it.
Boy, that's some riveting TV, huh?
Pardon me?
I was making a joke. I
Oh,
said
sorry,
that's some riveting TV to watch
Yeah,
there.
been in that truck and yeah, it is very riveting.
It's actually very interesting, to see that little guy go through there. And if it's just a small crack, you'll spot it, you'll back up, and they put it right down to the 10th. And then they go. And then they'll be back maybe a month later. One of the little robots come from one way, and the other one comes with a spray, and he sprays it, and seals it without ever digging it up.
You don't get out much, do you, Councilman?
No, I don't, but I'll tell you what. This, we had down here, this plug up cost them considerably a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because they rented a pipe, 900 feet, plus they rented a pump, and I don't know how much gravel and stone they put in to get back there. I'm saying if they got out of it for $250,000, they did good. Because it was plugged. Plus, they had 900 foot of hose cut on it. That would've been expensive.
Somebody else.
So,
If you go back to the back where it says Exhibit A, just for some clarification, we issue our own B permits, that is the sewer permit, the county does not issue those, so the bottom of that page where it says municipality issue B permits, we do that. On the next page, they do our billing for us, sent out on the first of the month, and it's due on the 21st of the month, so that would be checked. They maintain our pumping stations, as you can see the list there. There's 5 of them at $3.95, that price did not change. So that would be selected. I guess if we go back to item 3, we have 56,880 feet of sewer in the village, and they divide that by 10 years at $4 a foot, so the yearly for that is $22,752, and that would be added to the pump stations, $23,700. Right now I budget about $65,000, and it'll drop because of the 10 years, it'll drop the outlay for each year considerably, probably $15,000 by the time the billing and everything is done. And then the last one, they will do that portion of our misdig staking. So I'm looking for a motion to have Mr. Baldwin and myself sign this CMON.
I have
I had
a
Mr.
question, Jackie. Did Mr. McKinney look at this?
Yes,
He's,
I just got that hot off the press a minute ago.
okay.
There are a couple different changes and some wording. I will be checking with the insurance company to make sure that they coordinate with each other.
one thing you might know, when the power's out, each one of these pump stations has to be pumped with a generator. So they go from one to the other. If it's out for 3 days, that's all they do is keep it moving. Because, the sewer will work if you got water. Like I said last time, if they got an ice storm coming, fill the bathtub up, it'll work for a couple days, keep it flushing.
Do they provide the generator?
Pardon me?
Do they provide the
Yes,
generator?
they have a big one. It did sit out here for a few years, and now I don't know where they're keeping it. But I know, when we found the plug, they were out the Friday before, power was out. And I stopped and told somebody smelled sewer gas. Well, Tuesday night we found the problem. It took them about 12 days to get it opened up. Well, they had to find it first, and when they finally found it, then they had to pump it all out. Well, everybody's using the sewer, so they had to pump by it. And what had happened is, the pipe slid into the catch basin, it had a rubber ring around it. For whatever reason, that pipe moved. And it fell full of dirt. But they had to pump it all out before they could dig it up. It was actually running over the top of the catch basin a little bit when they pulled the top, quite a bit.
Does this include, surface road sewers too, runoff water?
No.
It's just sanitary.
They take care of their drains in the village, and the village takes care of the village drains. All the subdivisions have their drains, with the exception of, yours and, Creekside.
What do you mean, all of them have their drains?
Genesee County drains within the subdivision.
Also,
Your subdivision is private, they're your drains.
oh boy. How does that work?
We haven't had a problem yet, so hopefully we won't, but they're your drains. I mean, we fix the catch basins on the road, but if there's, an issue with the retention ponds or the drains themselves are plugged or something, that's the subdivision, association's responsibility.
Who made that call to put it upon the residents of Goodrich Meadows? Whereas,
When the site plan came in, that's how it was set up. I don't remember whether the county didn't, whether they denied those as drains, but they drain out to M15 through the retention ponds. Well, most drains that go to M15, the state drains, or directly into the mill pond, are
so
not.
the site plan was approved by the village at the time? So the village okayed a developer to build a subdivision and put the onus of.
You're in a site condo. Site condos are totally different than platted subdivisions, but you can come in the office and look at plans if you'd like. This was a long time ago, I don't have anything in front of me.
Built the point same way.
So, if there are any other questions, looking for a motion to approve this.
Tony?
That makes a motion.
Support.
Roll call.
Brennan,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Alden.
Yes. Number 7 we're down to. That's the appointment to the Walk, Bike, Run Atlas Township. It'll be on the first Tuesday of every month.
Again, this is I haven't had a regular appointment to this. Mr. Maury, when they started the project and started the committee, volunteered on his own to go to these meetings. I don't know when the last one he attended was, but it would be good to have a representative drop in once in a while, if it's not on a monthly basis. Could be on a quarterly basis or something, just to get the information.
I would volunteer for that.
I also go back to it if he can. But, the plan is now to go from the end of the bike path up by the school into Atlas and possibly down Prairie Road back to Goodrich. And on their wish list is to run it through the Ann Urban all the way to Atlas, which would be back down from where the Ann Urban starts approximately on Eagle Road and where that comes out into Atlas. But, that would be somewhat of a big job because you gotta cross the creek twice. But I talked to him and I said, where you have to cross the creek at 3/8 of a mile, whatever it is in there, just leave that dirt, you wouldn't have to put a big machine, a big bridge in to get blacktop across it. Put a bridge in, it's a walking bridge. Run a bulldozer across the creek and it would be nice walking through the woods back there. If you've never been back there, that part of Atlas Township where you've got the creek on both sides would have made a wonderful subdivision. You could have had the creek in your backyard. You could have had your creek in the backyard. And that was the plans that was going to happen until everything took a dump. The guy had planned on putting $1 million houses back there with a creek in the backyard on both sides, road down the lane. But when things went down the toilet, that went with it, he lost the property. But, it's very nice back there, it's high bank, a lot of white oak.
It's
Great
beautiful,
place to build.
it's absolutely beautiful.
Private property.
Good.
But the gentleman that owns, that bought that piece of property said he had no problem with him going through it, is to get the other 2,400 feet on this side of it is privately owned, the rest of it through the woods out through, Atlas, I think, still belongs to consumers.
Sure, that was people. So the consensus is that Mark and people volunteer for the walk, bike, run, and that stuff.
Yes.
Parks and Recs Committee. Mr. Horton and Mr. McAfee were on the Parks and Recs Committee. That really wasn't a committee, it was the two of them. Met with people down at the park and other people joined in too. We will be having a meeting sometime in January to talk about Parks and Recs master plan. That I might remind you needs to be adopted if we want to get on any kind of a list for any kind of money that would be coming as far as recreation, purchase of land, anything from the state of Michigan. You have to have a Parks and Recs plan in order to be able to make application for those funds.
And that plan can be altered.
Yeah, it's a working document, just like the budget, just like anything else, it's a working document.
Have we had,
Of course.
have we had any other applicants put in to be on the committee?
We have 3 right now.
Would that be the time we would appoint those at the public hearing? Well, after the public hearing meeting? Or do we just allow those people to be on the committee?
No, council would have to appoint them.
Would we do that in the January meeting?
We probably could do that tonight, just create the committee, and then I have applications for the 3 individuals. At this particular point in time, we don't have a committee. We like to see that, when people are volunteering for something that we don't even have. So if you would like to make a motion in regards to the Parks and Recs committee to establish one and appoint someone or 2 people to be on that committee, we can do that in one motion.
I'd like Mr. Brandon to be on that committee.
You're in full swing.
Can't tell you when they meet, because we don't.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Beck.
Well, Rick's not here.
I think with your interest and your wife's interest, I think you could be a good counterpart yourself.
Both of you are volunteering then?
Apparently.
I'll make that motion.
There might be a conflict, because
Oh, his
your
wife
wife
is-
is
oh,
one of
that's
the people
good
that,
point.
I would agree with that.
volunteered.
I'm sorry.
I think you should appoint Mr. Horton too.
All right, Mr. Horton, I'll make the motion.
Mr. Horton.
Mr. Horton and Mr. Brown.
What happens when you miss a meeting?
Yeah, that's right.
Mr. Moore, I like my road fixed.
Just so that you can get to the meetings.
So the motion,
Would you try to-
if I had this correct, the motion is to establish a Parks and Recs committee and appoint Mr. Horton and Mr. Brandon as the council representative to that committee.
Word for word.
It's pretty close.
And who made that motion?
I did, yeah.
Mr. Baldwin did. I second.
I think it was Mr. Vick, but we won't split hairs.
Well, a family member cannot be on the zoning board of appeals or the zoning board of appeals, or the planning commission or zoning board of appeals if a council member is on that. That's the only reason I bring up
Yep.
a conflict of interest.
I have no issues with it.
For Parks and Rec.
I'm just bringing it up.
Okay.
It makes sense.
You can babysit.
You know, roll call while
Yes.
you're.
Costs money to.
Brandon,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Vic,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes. Now we have an issue of the office water heater, and did I see that in here and how much that was? Or
No, I have it. I was giving.
if you could then, Jack, I know I'd seen it somewhere.
We have three different costs. One doesn't have an installation. Home Depot to buy the water heater itself is $857. Robert's Plumbing to buy the water heater and do the installation is $1652. Steve's Plumbing, the water heater is $788.12 and not to exceed $1,100 to do the installation. There's a few extensions of the pipe. We have an 85-gallon water heater right now that's sprung a leak. And it's in a location, Pete can jump in here anytime he wants, in a location that we can't
Have
get
the
in to
water,
fix it.
it's in that room in there, and, actually had 2 leaks. We repaired one of them, which was a valve, pop-off valve, and they go from time to time. We put a new one in, we cleaned it all up, dried it all up, and there's a leak somewhere in the top of the heater. It's dripping down and the wall's getting moldy. I think it's 80 or 85 gallons, we're gonna go to a 50. You say, well, go to 45, it's cheaper. Actually, the 45 costs more than 50.
So have we considered, on demand?
We have, but it's such a long ways to travel, and, just going from the 80 to the 50 will probably save us some money. This is, one that's got a fan on it that blows everything out. We looked at on-demand, and, my problem with the on-demand here, it might not be used enough to keep it where it's gonna work properly. Because basically, they're washing their hands. You rent it out, somebody may run a little hot water over there, and,
Well, that's the whole purpose of an on-demand, is if it's not used frequently,
you're not
it's not heating the water in turn, deteriorating the piping.
We've gotta go all the way upstairs to the front of the building.
We have a lot of distance between where there's a slap sink in front of the building, there's restrooms back here, there's restrooms over here, there's a kitchen over here, and there's a kitchen up there.
But the distance, the water has to travel, it won't make any difference in heating of the water. It's still got the same distance to travel.
Correct. Other than pipes, will probably stay a little warmer when you've got heat on it. So, I had him look into it, and Steve says,
He recommends not doing
he recommended not doing it for here, but, the tank has a 6-year warranty on it. You'll have to buy some supplies, because the tank's a little shorter, so you're gonna have to move things down. Probably move them in, because it's not as big around, so. But it needs to be fixed, because the wall back there is getting moldy, so.
Can I ask what brand?
American, the name of it is American brand.
American made. 80, probably have it done, maybe yet this week.
You are going with the 50.
50
That's better than the 80.
We just don't use enough here for 80. But if you look at it, probably when the building was built, they went on the size of the building, being commercial. They felt they might need an 80, but we don't. You got 4 employees at the most. They're not here all the time, so. And as much as this room is used, they don't use that much hot water, so.
Again, my biggest concern is to pull that hot water from the hot water heater to the restrooms upstairs. You're draining that hot water heater and it's just gonna work that much harder. If the plumber recommends not putting them in, that's fine. I just think it would be more cost effective to have a non-demand unit because of the lack of use.
And they could also open up a loop and make it to where they can circulate water, at least a portion of it, the drop ceiling, they can make it to where they can have a loop in this area, where the water is constantly circulating. And that helps as far as the demand, when you turn the water on, you can have hot water much quicker. I think we should look into that, you know?
I would like to, yeah.
Did we get a price for the on-demand?
I can't.
What'd you say they were, $1,600?
You know,
But
the one
then
I got a
that was a
price
lot
on
of-
when I was doing my house was around $1,300, but since I put in that mammoth shower with all the jets, he said, that ain't gonna work.
You could even put ones underneath the cabinets upstairs too,
And we talked about that.
but you're gonna have to do some wiring, and by the time you got all through, I think it would probably be cheaper to stay with the 50.
We talked about doing that in the different locations that we would have to do. And again, it didn't come up with being cheaper, but I can get prices on on-demand and run it back in January. And then we can protect that wall, right?
Well, if it's leaking, they don't want the mold to get any worse. So if it's needed now, I guess we go with the 50.
Is that a motion?
Well,
Yeah.
Mr. Vick?
If I may, before we take a second here, couldn't we, I mean, is there a price cap that we're looking at to spend for this water here?
Best deal out there for the buck.
Not to exceed $1,200?
Well, this one is not to exceed 1,100. That's his bid. With the water heater and installation.
Let's run with that and see if we can beat them up and get more.
That's kind of what I was thinking, I mean, we can find one of those.
That way we move
on-demand, but-
forward with that being ceiling.
It's a, what is it, a gas vent,
Gas vent, it's got a fan on it that blows up,
so they're a little bit more money, I guess.
but that's what we have now, is a gas vent with a fan on top.
Well, he can use that, he can, all he's gonna do is replace the hot water, he can still use the non-assist, correct?
I think it comes with a new one on it.
So to make a clarification, $1,100 on the total services gonna be provided, that's water heater and installation.
Yes, not to exceed.
Is that a motion?
It is a motion.
I'll second that.
Well, Mr. Brandon already made the motion.
Good job, Mr. Brandon. I would like to support Mr. Brandon's motion.
Very good.
Mr. Brandon corrected his motion to include $1,100, not to exceed.
Yeah.
Yes,
Or changed his motion, whatever.
all set? Roll call.
Brandon,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Alden.
Yes. On the land, just down at the end of,
Hope everybody went out and took a look at it.
I did,
I did.
I'm not 100% positive where it's at, but
This side of the cleared land, anything this side of the cleared land out there, was in the township.
I think I found it.
It's a pie shaped piece of property. It starts at the corner of Green Rose Road, and then it'll go, I guess northwest,
North 375 feet,
and
east 250 feet, and then abutting the township was 546.94.
it follows that old fence line along there, which would have been the Cummings farm in my day. Would it ever be buildable? Maybe not likely. But the person that owned it lived next door to it, is that correct?
I know I was wrong on that, he lives in the Grove.
Well,
I thought he did, but he lives in the Grove.
so, being the price it is, somebody's gonna buy that other house someday, may want it. And,
We have to pay the chargeback amount, there's not a chargeback in 11, there is a 6901 and 12, and a 6646 and 13, so we're going to pay $135.47 when we get our check from the county, regardless of whether we take the land or not. This has already gone through the auction process. The minimum bid on the property was $2,800, and they didn't get the $2,800. We had people looking at the vacant properties, especially Tom Gordon's up on Eagle Road, so we had people in the community looking at buildable properties. So I don't know if that tells you anything or not, but for $2,800, it's probably, what, acre and a half? Nobody bought it, and if you look at the road, it's what, 2 feet at least below the road. I don't know if that makes it a problem or not. It's not cattails that I saw, or the DPW
No.
wading through there, or walking through.
actually, maybe on the kind of northwest end of it, you might be able to build it.
But you can, because it's gone through the auction, there's no limitations on what we can do. We can use it, or we can try to put a for sale sign on it and try to sell it if we want to.
Do we have any use for it?
If it were in a different location, I could say we could do something with a park or something like that.
For $137, you'll get your money back. And make a little money, but I don't know when.
Unless you go over there and clean it off.
Now, does it have access from Green Road?
Pardon me?
No.
No, Rhodes Road is a private
Road.
road in that
Oh,
location, and
okay.
it's pretty much a one lane road over there, and Green Road is not paved at that location.
No.
Okay.
It,
It's right before the
Actually-
bridge over there.
starts, if you went out there and got out right on that corner, there's an old fence post there with an old fence on it, and that's where it starts, and it goes almost north that way. And then angles back this way like the road does.
I mean, how long are we expecting to hang on to this if we do try to sell it? I mean, that's not even going for $2,800.
Well, we bought the property from the county, and it took a year and a half to get clear title. So that's a lot of, if you wanna sell it, that's a lot of attorney fees. Now, the other ones were in a subdivision, so it might have been a bigger difference than, I guess this would be meets and bounds, because it's not a subdivision over there. But if you're interested in it, you can make a motion that we would take it contingent upon Tom's review as to whether or not he thinks it would be that involved to get clear title, or but you have to make a decision or they're gonna give it to you.
What are the taxes on the agenda?
I'm sorry, what?
Taxes.
When we get it, there won't be any taxes. But we would have to pay the back taxes, which are $135.47.
Do you think there would ever be a possibility that we could acquire the piece of property next to it and turn it into a park there by the creek?
In the township, the property in the township. That's the guy that cleared everything. I don't know what he's planning. Looks like he's planning to put a subdivision in there. I don't know. To me, it does.
They've
Whatever
stopped
he
it.
cleared is totally,
There's a lot of empty land over there now.
it's wetlands.
Well, basically, that's what this is pretty much well, I mean.
$135.
True.
I mean, if you bought it, and we could get a clear title and put 500 on it, you still make much money.
As long as we don't spend a lot of money on lawyers' fees.
Yeah, do we have any idea what that possibility may be?
And
For the lawyer fees to get a clear title?
I don't know, that's what you can make a contingent upon, whatever Tom might think, if it has to go through the same process as it did last time. Because it took a while, and the title company, and worked out in the end. But if we're not gonna do anything with it, other than sit on it and see where everything goes. Guy next door may wanna buy it, could be an access road, if he's gonna make a subdivision.
I don't know that I'm a fan of the aggravation, to be honest with you.
If you don't take it, then it goes to the land bank.
How much
The
time
good
do
thing
you-
about the land bank is it doesn't have any grass on it, so we don't have to go through them coming out to cut the grass, like some of the other places that they have.
Do we have enough time between now and, the next meeting? Do we have that much time?
We have to let them know,
Every month.
they sent this to us on November 21st, and we have to let them know by December 15th. They don't give you a lot of time when you're dealing with this.
Would we even get the information from our attorney on how much the possible fees may cost in that timeframe?
I can talk to them tomorrow and see, it probably makes a difference if it's a platted subdivision versus, I'm gonna call it meets and bounds, as to getting clear title or not.
For the same amount, $500? It is pretty cheap, but.
Well, it's so close to the creek.
It's assuming down what, 250, again, I mean, if it did sell for $2,800, how much are we looking to make out of this, unless they're an auction? Sounds like a piece of swamp and.
$135, $100, and the attorney's fees, that's not much. Get it done for that.
Yeah, but we would be purchasing it from a government entity, so price-wise, for closing costs. And then paperwork.
Can you take a question from the audience? Any other input on that?
I don't have a problem with that.
I just got a couple of things I'm concerned about. Is it on a floodplain? Is it perkable? I mean, if we're to turn around and sell it again, has it been perked so that it is sellable? And how much is it if we have to clear it to make a profit off it? How costly is that as well, on top of lawyer fees? So those are the things I'm concerned about.
I think the only way that you could actually sell it to anybody and recover any kind of a profit is if an adjacent property owner. As far as anything other than that, I'd question that.
Yeah,
It's pretty low.
is that?
I would think that the adjacent property owner would have bought it for 2,800.
Yeah, if he would known about it, though.
Pretty cheap.
Well, and that's true, he may not have.
Yeah.
You put a ceiling at $500, I mean, that's,
If I was the guy that had the nice house next door, I'd buy it. Just a nice green forest to sit there. But I don't know any more about it than, it's just got across my desk when I got back.
if you're not gonna sell this as a buildable lot, you're not gonna develop it, it's gonna have to go to an adjacent property owner. Gentlemen, what do you wanna do?
Well, we got enough issues on our plate, I say we forego it. What do you say?
I use IC out as maybe the DPW to clear out Dutch Road and some sort of crap, then we don't wanna do that because that's on our doors. I'm not for it.
If you clear it out, it's gonna be a junkyard.
Yeah.
I didn't hear everything you said, but there'll be coaches.
Mr. Mooney, any input?
No, it doesn't make any difference to me.
I need a motion to, if that's what you wanna do
I make a
to,
motion with that.
allow this to go back to the land bank.
You're making a motion? You wanna go back to land bank? I'll support that.
Okay, wait a minute. You're rejecting the listed property, and it can go back to the land bank, or it can go to the land bank. Like, you have to have those words in there, you're rejecting the listed property.
Is that Pat? Roll call.
Brennan,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Turkey, rejecting.
Turkey.
Get it over with.
That's all I have on my agenda. Your agenda.
You all set this up? I go to public comments?
If I may, Jackie, I know we didn't add this to the agenda, but the street administrator, we didn't do that in December when we get nominated or appointed, we said we'd do that at the next meeting. Was that supposed to be on this agenda?
Mr. Maury wants to continue being the street administrator, so I didn't put it on there. Put it on there another time if you want.
Looks like, if I'm not mistaken, we had, Pete kind of said he was looking to retire and maybe moving on, and we were gonna kind of share the response with Mr. Brandon.
Well, we were gonna, Pete was gonna show me the ropes and.
You only have one person on the legal paper that goes to the state.
Right.
Are you okay with the way things are being handled right now?
Yeah, right now.
Get you a new shovel too.
Mr. Moore, any questions?
Not in the budget.
I'll bring you one of mine.
Let's hurry through. Public comment, please.
Can I just stay here?
Please don't do your address, though.
I'm just looking at it. Diane Curtis, can you please explain what is going to be happening at the meeting on December 17th with Marjana and Jeff Wright?
Yeah, I'll get to that here in just a second. I'll kind of touch on Prajana for you.
Oh, okay, great, because I want to be sure I understand what's happening. Thanks.
Anyone else? I guess it brings on council comments, and I'll start right in. Two things. One thing, last month, somebody approached the chair with some documents they wanted me to pass out. My first instincts were kind of supported by legal counsel. Council will not distribute those, will not accept them in the future, and that's all I have to comment on that one. Prajana, that is going to be handled at the Drain Commissioner's office. The Drain Commissioner, through Susan Kubik and Rich, the man that did the presentation here, they will be going over what all they're going to discuss, and I'm not sure. I know that the drinking water was one of the things that Rich was going to kind of elaborate on, I guess, if you will. Back to the one question that I can answer tonight on Prajana, and you talked about the Belle Isle and how much it costs per acre. You have to understand that what they're presenting is they're going to take an area where the water follows its natural path, and they have selected sites, small areas, that they're going to put this proposed piping in, these straws, if you will, okay? It's not the whole acreage, just a few areas that has that done. There's a possibility of retention ponds, and keeping in mind that there still is pipe that's going to be introduced with this. Hopefully that helps a little bit. The meeting, it's open to the public, so all are welcome to come to that meeting.
Do you know what time it is?
You're going to have to get a hold of me, if you will. It's either going to be 1 or 1:30, and that was between Susan Kubik and Rich, and I don't know where they ended up with. Okay. Mr. Brennan, turn.
Yes, in regards to the paperwork that you seek counsel on that cannot be handed out, in regards to that individual, I have great concerns with that individual representing the village in the aspect he has been doing so far. I find that quite disturbing with his history in that particular field.
I'm gonna stop you right there, Tim. Please contact me, you and I can have this discussion. Okay?
Okay.
I guess that's afterwards you'll understand. I just don't wanna go any further with comments on
I understand.
it. It's a legal thing. Okay?
Well,
I'll explain it to you. Mr. Vick?
A couple things. I do remember that there was a motion that was made to have Jeff write DEQ and the DNR, and some other names around there, and I think we may have talked in the past. I still would like to see that meeting take place, whether it's informed, that we, or village residents, submit some questions through the village, and we get to the attorney, he kind of plays a mediator, so to speak. Village residents, of course, still be in attendance so they can hear the answers. But I think there's a lot of questions that do need to be answered concerning our dam and water quality and the drains issues and whatnot on that. The other thing is, I haven't seen on the last two agendas, so I want to make sure that this gets on the next one. It's Mr. Brandon's sub, we did some road discussions in there for maintenance and repairs.
Mr. McKinney's coming to the next meeting to explain that.
Okay. In the meantime on that, and I probably should wait for his explanation, but I'm gonna throw it out anyway. Is there any way we can at least get maybe an estimate on just general repairs that maybe we can facilitate for them, so, I mean, the potholes aren't getting any bigger?
I have estimates for, like the whole project, we can go through and pick and choose. The areas where the potholes are the major areas in the subdivision that would have to go down to the base, the majority of them. So that's where the expense comes in, digging up the whole area, however many square feet that is, and putting the base down and then putting the asphalt on. So I have those figures in my office, and you can look at them if they want. I mean, it's an engineer's estimate, it's not set in stone.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the estimates to redo the whole thing, it's just for basic repairs. So I think that's what some people kind of want to hear, we didn't really get that.
We can separate those out, or I can ask Wade Trim to separate those.
Yeah, okay. That's all.
Don't have anything.
Looking for
Can I make a comment? In regards to the meeting, I didn't go any further with it on direction from the president of the council because we were served with a lawsuit as far as the meeting with the DEQ and whoever else. So, if you want to change that, that's
You and I can get together, we can discuss things.
Yeah, we'll get
We'll do that.
some names together.
So,
Okay.
looking for a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Support that motion.
8:26.
Happy holidays, everyone.